This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the new screensavers is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. The new Screensavers is brought to you by Texture, the mobile app that lets you access the world's most popular magazines anytime, anywhere, using your phone or tablet. For your free 30-day trial, visit texture.com/NSS. And by Slack, a messaging app for teams. Slack makes your work life simpler, more pleasant, and more productive. To try it free and get a $100 credit toward a paid plan, go to slack.com/NSS. And by Braintree. Looking to set up payments for your business? Braintree gives your app or website a payment solution that accepts just about every payment method with one simple integration. Plus, Braintree will give you the first $50,000 in transactions fee-free. To learn more, visit BraintreePayments.com/NSS.
Photos from 10,000 feet, AirBNB for your pets, and the 17-year-old who's going to save the world from Ebola? Live from the Twit Brick House in beautiful downtown Petaluma, it's the new Screensavers.
And I'm Florence Ion.
Yay, Florence Ion. It's so nice to have you from All About Android.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Greenbot, PC World.
Yeah.
For that, Ars Technica.
Yes.
It's so nice. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
me. I really appreciate it. And by the way, thank you, Roberto Hellman. He is from Staten Island, devoted Twit fan. As you could tell, he was all swagged out. He made that sweatshirt. He hand embroidered that sweatshirt. And, of course, he's an old friend. It's great to see you, and thank you for being here. Is your dad watching? Your aunt watching? Grandma watching? Your family's watching. Thank you, Roberta. We have a great show for you. Let me tell you, coming up in just a second, Vincent LaForêt, one of my favorite photographers. I've known Vincent for a long time. He's got a new book out, Aerial Photography. Have you seen the screensaver on the Apple TV?
Yes.
Isn't it gorgeous?
I have.
It's gorgeous.
I don't have an Apple TV, but I
you've
have
seen the screensaver.
Yes.
Yeah. Just gorgeous aerial photography. I don't know. We're going to have to ask Vincent if he had anything to do with it, because it looks very suspiciously like it might have been his work. Also, imagine being a junior in high school and coming up with a quick test for Ebola, and winning the Google Science Fair. Olivia Halsey did exactly that. She'll be joining us. The Giz Wiz is here with some gift suggestions. Father Robert with an AirBNB for your pets. And we're going to take some tech questions. Florence is ready to do that.
Ready.
Yes, but first, let's talk about the news of the week. And, we've went back and forth about what the big stories were. One of my biggest stories is that RDO went out of business. Did you ever listen to RDO?
I was never an RDO subscriber.
Yeah.
I jumped on the Spotify bandwagon after that sort of came alive.
RDO was a year earlier in the US.
Right, I remember.
It was the first.
The cool kids were on RDO first.
Yeah. It never got as big as Spotify in subscribers or in music. Spotify, I think, has 30 million songs.
Yeah.
Microsoft's Groove Music has 30 million songs.
Yeah.
RDO never got past 7 million, but I don't think that's why RDO died. I think RDO died first of all, by losing $2 million a month.
Yeah.
They owe $220 million. But I also feel like the real issue, and this is why it's an important story, is that the music industry ultimately determines who lives or dies in this.
Yeah, that's very true.
Adele just released her new album, 25, and didn't put it on any of the streaming services.
I'm having trouble with that myself.
Well, but I
don't know
understand.
if I want to buy it yet. So.
Well, that's the problem, right?
I don't know if I like it, Adele. I'm sorry. I don't know if I want to be sad for half an hour.
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
And I understand her point of view, because Taylor Swift did the same thing. If you release it on streaming, then people may not buy it. I wouldn't buy it. I don't need to.
But didn't Taylor Swift do something with Jay-Z's Tidal? Didn't she?
Maybe, but she kept it off
Spotify
and the other big ones.
Yeah, she did.
And as a result, 1989 was a huge
she used to do
seller.
Target specials where you could buy a physical CD at Target, which I just blew my mind.
Talk about retro.
I know, right? But kids are still buying CDs apparently or something.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I know. That's why
They're
why it's
not.
confusing or something.
But I guess you could buy both the 1989
Yeah.
and 25 on iTunes,
Yeah.
or buy it. But they don't want you to stream it.
Right. 'Cause
She
they don't make
released
as much
"Hello,"
money.
the first single. Good song.
Maybe cry.
But how
It's
many
very-
CDs have we bought with one great song and the rest terrible?
Yeah, that was most of my high school life.
Exactly. So I think it's kind of going back to that earlier time. Yeah, maybe she'll sell a lot of albums, but
She probably will. It's Adele. I mean,
yeah.
moms love Adele.
You
So
can't do that if you're Hootie and the Glowfish,
No,
some new
you
band that nobody
cannot.
ever heard of. But you could do it if you're Adele. You could do it if you're
Yeah,
Taylor
yeah, yeah.
Swift. I just feel like the companies like RDO exist only because the record industry kind of lets them.
Yeah.
They're the ones who determine if these guys are going to make money or not.
they
how
didn't
much
have
the
a lot of
royalties are.
marketing either. I mean, Spotify is like kind of known as the cool like streaming service.
But even
you know?
Spotify is at risk. If the record
Yeah.
industry says, you're not paying enough in royalties, we're going to double that.
Exactly. We're not going to put our album on your
Boom.
service. So
Yeah, boom. So one of the things Spotify's done and others have done is they've added podcasts like this show.
Yeah. That's
Stuff
right.
that that the record industry doesn't control. I think what's going to come down to, though, is the companies that don't need to make money in this are the ones that are going to stay in it. That's Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Apple.
Yeah.
They have music services. They're very good. I love the Google Music Service. They don't need to make money at it. If they break even, they're happy, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like those are the ones that are going to survive, and that the ones that, like Spotify, that it's 100% on the labels, I feel like this is trouble. And RDO is the,
Yeah.
I don't know, the canary in the coal mine. Do you have a Priv, BlackBerry Priv?
I'm not here physically, but yes, I
mine
was
comes-
reviewing one for a while.
Mine comes in a week.
How are you feeling about that?
Well, until you told me not to get one, I was all excited about it. So it's an Android phone.
It is an Android phone. It is not a typical BlackBerry.
It's got a real keyboard.
It does, which is very small.
The day after I ordered it, you had a race on All About Android, and the Priv
Yeah.
lost.
Well, I can't use it. I mean, Josh Vergara was very good at it from Android Authority.
What's wrong with it? Don't we love the black?
It feels like you're pecking. It's just, if you have I have long nails sometimes, and it feels difficult to sort of hit the keys.
Okay.
And I'm much more faster with the touchscreen keyboard.
But did you ever have you're too young to have had an actual BlackBerry back in the day.
I had texting phones. I was, the flip
AAA,
ones.
BBB, CCC.
No, the actual like keyboards. Verizon,
Oh, okay.
LG, and Samsung made a lot of like full QWERTY.
The Sidekick, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, my generation's the Sidekick generation.
I love
So we got
the
used to
Side-
like
I would,
tapping.
you know what? If somebody make an Android Sidekick, I'd buy a Sidekick. in a
agree.
heartbeat. I loved that.
I agree.
Well, I miss BlackBerry. Tell me, you're the host of All About Android.
Yes.
It's decent Android, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Is
I
it
gave
a good
4.
screen?
It was 4 out of 5, which
Okay.
is which I.
But look how fast he's typing with SwiftKey. That's
I know.
Jason Howell. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
that is kind of that's kind
That's
of
not
cheating now that I
fair.
think about
Yeah.
that. No why did we allow swiping on that?
No swiping. And then it's got an amazing camera, right?
It does. I was really surprised. I was like, hi, 18 megapixels, please.
And f1.2, really fast.
Yeah.
I think it was a Schneider Krauser lens or whatever you pronounce
It's not as good as the GS6 or the
Oh,
LG
it's not.
G4.
Okay.
And actually, it kind of overexposes a little bit in some low light situations, but it's
I have the
You know.
Nexus 6P right now.
yeah, which is phenomenal.
How is the battery life on the Priv?
It
remember?
actually it's very amazing. I left it on standby for like 3 days,
Yeah,
and I
it's
picked
got a-
it up, and it was still 50%.
It's a huge battery. It's like a 3140
Yeah.
milliamp hour battery. Anyway, well, I ordered one, $650. You can only get it in 32 gigs storage, but it does take an SD
Yes,
card,
it does.
so I can increase that.
And there's lots of cloud apps,
It's
you know.
fairly pure Android with additional BlackBerry features. I don't know. I'm kind of interested.
It's a good phone. I don't know if it's $700 worth,
Yeah.
but
Well, what phone is worth $700?
well, yeah. I mean,
Aren't they
that's-
outrageous?
Next year, hopefully, we'll start scaling back on how much money things cost.
Thanksgiving? You do Thanksgiving?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have a Romanian turkey?
Not this year. This year, I'm spending it with the Americans.
Oh, good.
Yes.
But the day after Thanksgiving, tell me you don't get in line at 3 in the morning
no.
at Target. You're an
Heck no.
online Black Friday shopper. Sorta?
I don't want to admit to that because that means I'm keeping people working on Black Friday, but
Online doesn't keep
I
anybody
know,
working.
I know.
It's
But
just
you know,
robots.
the shipment houses and
They decided they wanted to do that long ago. They didn't want to have Thanksgiving. So I'm intrigued because Samsung, we were talking about this on the radio show earlier, is putting its TVs already on sale. It could be the rest of the month they're on sale for like half off.
Which is totally exciting.
And these are Samsung's latest SUHD 4K displays. The only thing that worries me is when you see a company dumping its inventory at half off, either they were overcharging or they're getting out of the business, or maybe they've got much better coming along now.
Pretty sure it's a combination of 1 and 2.
Okay.
They're overcharging, because I know they kind of do the same with smartphones.
Right.
And they're definitely trying to get rid of the inventory for CES in January when they announce their new batch of things.
The 4K 60-inch, normally $25.99, $12.99.
That's not bad at all.
Half off. Now, if you want the big curved buddy, see, this is the one I want, the 70.
Really? You want to try
I
the
have
curved?
a curved TV at home. Yeah.
I'm
I
not
have
sure
a
if
problem.
I'm on that train yet.
You know what the problem with a curved TV? If there's anything reflecting against it, instead of a point of light, it goes all the way across.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's something you really want. The 78-inch is still pretty expensive. It was $12,000. It's now $7,000 for a 78-inch curved. But these are 4K, so if you wanted to go 4K, you said you buy your TVs on Black Friday.
Yeah, we actually bought our last Samsung TV with Vegas earnings.
Really? What game? Are you a master of the Wheel of Fortune?
It was my fiance. We went at the bar. They have the little Texas Hold'em machines.
Oh, yeah.
And like, it
How
was
much
just
did
a
he
fluke.
win?
$250. And it was Black Friday, so we bought like a couple models, older Samsung TV.
Cheap TV.
Yeah, so we have a 55-inch that we got for like $300.
And all you had to do is
awesome.
play Texas Hold'em in a bar, in a dive bar somewhere.
I love Vegas. So many dreams come true in Vegas.
Vegas and Black Friday. What more do you have to say,
Honestly,
right?
go to Vegas for Black Friday. Lots
I'm
of
in
strip
heaven.
malls and places to lose money. So.
What happens in Vegas goes home with you in your trunk. No, that's not a good slogan at all. Are you ready? Are you ready for a call for help? Let's do it. Let's go to Mohali, India. Dilraj is on the line. How, Dilraj?
Hello, Leo.
Welcome to the show. I love it that you watch us in India. That's fantastic. Where's Mohali?
It's situated near to the north, close to Delhi.
Okay. Did you celebrate? Do you celebrate Diwali? Wasn't that last week?
Yeah, it was, but since I am away from my home, so I kind of busy with my job, so I didn't celebrate it.
I am sorry. I hear that's the party. That's the one you want to. That's Las Vegas, Black Friday, and Thanksgiving all rolled up into one. Well, what can we do for you, Dilraj?
So Leo, actually, my question to you was, I was actually very concerned for my phone security. That I was trying some kind of security apps. Like Cerberus, some from Kaspersky, some from maybe Lookout, but they all work pretty good. I like them. Like they can send some kind of alert to any SIM cards or any other mobile numbers if my phone gets stolen, or like I can send some text message as a command so that my phone rings wherever it is. But my problem here is. That application would be useless if someone turns off my phone.
Yep.
Right?
No device could. No, I mean, how would anything know where to phone home if the phone is turned off, right?
Yeah, right. So,
Did you ever use Android Device Manager? Because that's the official Google app for this, right?
Yeah, I do use, but it doesn't work every time for me. It's kind of I don't believe on that.
Okay.
It can be
because
finicky.
sometimes it does work and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, you're very lucky because we have an expert here. Florence Ion writes for Greenbot, knows all about Android. I use Android. When you say security, it's like if the phone gets lost or stolen, you want to be able to wipe it?
At least I could track it or maybe wipe it. At least I should track it. So if my phone is not turned off, my GPS is working. So I should be able to like track it and
track it. You mean like go get it?
Yeah, if my GPS is on, right? So I can at least get the location where it is.
No, don't do that. You could get hurt.
Yeah.
Look here's a story. A teenager was killed in Toronto after using an app to find his lost cell phone. You got to figure that the person who stole your cell phone may not want to give it back.
Yeah, possible.
I think it's very I want to caution you against the idea that, oh, well, I know where it is. Let's go get it. Because that could,
Yeah.
could
Unless
be
you
dangerous.
left it in a cab, which I have done, and thanks to Android Device Manager, I have been able to retrieve it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that
Yeah.
happens.
A lot of times when cabbies, at least in the States, I don't know what happens in India, but in the States, when a cabbie gets a lost phone, there's a place they can drive to, and they give it to somebody, and somebody gives them $100. If the phone's still on, it's more valuable of all things because they can get data off of it. If it's off, they give them half as much, but they can sell it very quickly without actually getting out of the car. So you're lucky you got yours back. I've left a couple of phones in cabs. Well, is there anything he can do?
Is your phone rooted?
Yeah, it is.
If it's rooted, Exposed Framework actually has how to kind of help you track your phone even after the battery has gone off.
But what it will know is the last place
Exactly.
it was seen.
It's
There's
still
no...
only going to ping to the last place that it was at.
Because if the phone's dead or off, it's not doing anything. So it's not communicating.
At the very least, you can go to law enforcement and ask them to help you retrieve it. Definitely don't go alone. Whatever you do, don't go alone.
Yeah. Well, are you go ahead.
I was just thinking, even if I'm using some app, if my phone is locked, like some kind of any default lock, like a password or PIN, any lock, someone should not be able to turn it off by the Android default 10-second hold, right? So I do have installed Cerberus, and it works well for me. It doesn't allow the pop-up to come up where it shows restart or power off when we hold the power button. But still, even on the lock screen, if I hold that same button for like 10 seconds, it will turn off. So I was thinking of any way. Yeah, if I can prevent that, like it should not be
software that kept you from turning the phone off.
There is an app that you can download.
Yeah.
So it's called Smart, make sure I get it right, Smart Lock Screen Protector. And it will keep the person who has this phone of yours, you can block the power menu option so that they can't turn it off from the power button on.
Oh, that's cool.
So what happens is they'll hit the power button and the power menu will come on to let you turn it off.
As
but then
you can see on the right
but it
there.
won't allow you to actually power it off.
It stops working.
Yeah.
Ah.
So there's that.
There must be some way that you could force it to turn off, right?
Sure,
like
but it
enter
will
a
slow down
password or
whoever has your phone at least.
And then, in a day or two, the phone's just going to die on its own. So but please don't go finding your phone if it's lost or stolen.
Yeah,
because
just be careful.
That's a risky proposition at best. Are you a student, Dilraj?
No, I do job.
What do you do?
I work as an associate network engineer.
Ah, so you're an IT guy.
Right.
All right. I thought you might be just because obviously you're pretty smart about this. You've rooted your phone. You've tried all of these great apps.
Yeah.
You probably tried the Exposed Framework, right?
No, but the app that Flo is mentioning, I do have tried the app.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same one. It would just not let you show the power menu. But still, if I hold that button for 10 seconds, my phone will turn off, right?
Well, let's just hope that your phone gets stolen by somebody who's not super smart, right?
Yeah.
But often that's the case. I have to say, a lot of police work relies on the stupidity of thieves.
It's very true. Yeah. And thieves are pretty dumb. I mean, most of them are pretty dumb.
Often.
Let's be real.
Dilraj, I'm so glad you watched. I'm afraid we just don't have a very good answer for you. But maybe somebody watching will come up with
Get
one.
a phone without a removable battery.
Well,
obviously,
then at least, no matter
they
what,
can't take the battery out.
I can always take the battery out, right?
You know, or I don't know, wear it around your belt.
Yeah.
Then they can't come after it at all. It's
do
just on your belt. And
you lose your phone a lot, Dilraj?
No, I don't. But I do have a habit of leaving it on the desk. So I'm not afraid that someone from outside might stole it, but I do am afraid that someone from inside might get it.
Oh, of course. Bernie on the third floor, and you go, hey, Bernie, I want my phone. I know you have it. That's a good point. That would be what you could do. Yeah. Dilraj, great to talk to you.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad he watches the new Screensavers in Mohali. That's wonderful. All right, if you want us to answer one of your tech questions on the air, it's easy to do, and we always try to match it to the host. That's why we'll have some more Android questions, I'm sure. Here's how you can ask your question, Juan.
Need tech help? The new screensavers are here with answers. Email your tech questions to newscreensavers@twit.tv.
Next week, Father Robert Balasair joins us. So if you've got questions about drones, know-how, coding, he can answer on anything. So make sure you get those questions in. Our show today brought to you by Texture. We were talking off the air about gossip.
Yes, we were.
Gossip. Yeah, it's kind of like Netflix for magazines, right? You pay a flat fee and you get dozens of magazines on your Android device, your tablet, your phone, your iPhone, your iPad, and you can read those magazines very much like the real magazine experience, although they add stuff like there's additional features like videos and things like that. But the thing I like the best is most magazines, there's one or two articles. Like there's almost always every month something in Rolling Stone, one article. I don't want the whole magazine. I don't want to subscribe to the magazine. I just want to read that one article. Vanity Fair is another good one. I like cooking magazines, but I don't want to just stick with one. I want to get a recipe here, a recipe there. And let's be honest, even though I say I read Wired and Fortune and Time and Vanity Fair, and Consumer Reports, got to read that. What I'm really reading is Us, People, Entertainment Weekly, that kind of thing. So if you want to keep up on what's going on with Gwen and Blake, sexiest man alive, David Beckham.
It's a little late on that.
I thought that was Ricky Gervais. It looks a lot like Ricky. Anyway,
We're both British.
If you would read the magazines, you would know what I'm talking about there. You see Jeff Gordon. I love this. Texture.com/NSS will give you a month free so you get an idea of what it's like to have all these magazines without the clutter, without the guilt about I killed 1,000 trees this month and read one article. You don't want to do that. You're gonna love it. Much more affordable than subscribing. Much, much more affordable than buying it on the newsstand. Get out of that habit. Look at Bloomberg Markets, Bon Appetit, Billboard, Bloomberg Business Week, Bride Magazine. I read that religiously. Boy's Life, I read that too. See, if you get them all, you can. I want you to go to Texture. It's the old Next Issue. We've been advertising these guys for a while. They just renamed themselves. Texture, Texture, which is a great name, actually, .com/NSS. One app, one price, all you can read at texture.com/NSS, free for 30 days. All right. Coming up in just a little bit, I'm going to chat with Vincent Laforet, one of my favorite photographers. He's got a new book, Air. He's going to reveal some of the secrets of taking aerial photographs. But first, when you go on vacation, we got one coming up, a lot of people going out of town for Thanksgiving. What do you do with the pets? You ask friends and family to come over? Well, Father Robert shows you an Airbnb for your little furry friends. Watch.
Now, the Silicon Valley has been all about apps for people, but what about our pets? That's a need that Rover.com is trying to fill. Now, if you've ever tried to go on vacation or away from home with your pet, you know it can be difficult. Well, what if you had an AirBNB service for your fuzzy friend? That's why I'm speaking with Brandy from Rover.com to explain why their app is going to change the way you travel. Brandy, what gave you the idea of doing a Airbnb for fuzzy friends?
Well, you know, our tech executives found that they were always on the road. They were relying on friends, family, neighbors, calling in favors. Some of their friends stopped taking their calls, or they would spend all this time buying wine and gifts and trying to figure out how to thank them and not overstay their welcome, that they figured there had to be something else here. The pet marketplace is a huge, huge industry, but only about 8% of the market right now uses a commercial solution. So that's a huge opportunity, and we figured there had to be a better way. So with Rover, you can find a pet sitter who will watch your dog, cat, horse, potbelly pig. We've had a pair of shrimp. They'll watch them in the owner's home or in the sitter's home. We also offer doggy daycare as well. And it's a really great option because you get the in-home experience, the one-on-one, the personalized care. Find somebody who's the right fit for you and your dog. And it's also backed with 24-hour vet consultation. All of our stays are backed with insurance. And so it's really kind of the best of both worlds. And it's a lot of fun. It's growing like crazy. And the holidays are prime time for it because a lot of people who might go to, their mother, father, their neighbor, everybody's traveling at the same time. So what do you do?
Brandy, thank you very much for speaking with us. Now, if they want to find out more about Rover, including where they might be able to book a room for their pets, where do they go?
www.rover.com.
I'm Father Robert Balasair here at the Holiday Spectacular, and Rover is your pet's best friend.
Thanks, Padre. I've been waiting for this moment for a little bit of a while. I'm a big fan of Vincent Laforet. He is one of the best photographers I know, was one of the first to not only use the new Canon 5D, but to show us that we could do amazing video with it. Now he's taking to the air. Vincent, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us on the news.
Thanks, Leo. My pleasure. Glad to be back.
Oh, this book. It's just out, right?
It's just out. We're shipping it next week, or just the week after, actually, and it's doing really well, and I'm super proud of it. I would never have expected, if you'd asked me a year ago, that I would do a book.
It's all aerial photography of beautiful urban regions, right?
Absolutely. It started off as an editorial assignment for Men's Health magazine. It was an article on the psychology of coincidence, and they said, "Can you illustrate this?" And I said, "Okay." And then I thought of brain synapses and computer chips and motherboards. And I said, "Can we go up really high over New York City at night?" And they said, "We don't get it. We've never really seen that." And I said, "That's kind of the point. I've never seen it either." And after some back and forth, they said, "All right, go ahead and give it a try." And nothing really happened when I got in the magazine, but when I put it on a platform called Storehouse on the web, something like 40 million people saw it in the first few weeks or months, and that's insane.
I'm a huge Storehouse fan, but I would never have thought of it as the way to discover Vincent Laforet's photography, especially over a magazine.
It just kind of happened. I mean, this project has been the most organic thing that just kind of happens. It wasn't part of my plan. Yeah, as you know, I've been directing commercials and I'm working on feature films, stuff like that, and kind of taking a step backward into photography with this project. And the truth is, I've had a total blast doing it.
Nice. Had you done aerial photography before?
Yeah, that was kind of one of my specialties. I started off in sports, and then at the New York Times, they put me in helicopter, which kind of uses, when you go in helicopter, you see these incredible vistas.
Yeah.
And the natural tendency is to want to take wide-angle pictures. The problem is they kind of tend to not render really well, when someone else sees them. And what I used to do when I was at the New York Times is I would use very long telephoto lenses, a little bit different than air. I had that background in sports, and the deal in aerials, you only get one shot at something. You never really find that same angle again. So next thing you know, it's been 10 years and I've been shooting aerials around the world.
It's kind of counterintuitive. When I think of landscape photography, and I guess this is a form of it, I always think of wide angle. Doesn't telephoto narrow your vision? I don't understand why.
I think it forces you to actually have some discipline as a photographer and pick out visual elements. There are some ultra wides. Air is a bit different because of the incredible grid of these cities. Yeah. So I do use like an 8-15. I do use a 15 mil quite a bit. And the longest lens I shot on this series was a 200. But that's very special. Normally I'm shooting a 500 millimeter or so for my aerials.
No kidding.
Yes.
One of the things that a telephoto does, though, is it collapses the depth of field, right? So
correct.
That makes it interesting. Probably it makes your pictures look different than everybody else's because everybody else is using a wide-angle image.
That was one of the early tricks, to be perfectly honest, is everyone else was shooting with a 24 or a 50, and I was up there with a 500 and really picking up little pieces of the city in New York City where I started, and the images were very different for that reason. Yeah. Air's a bit different, as you can see on the screen. I mean, it's a much more of a mix because I'm trying to capture this web, these arteries that look like red and white blood flow almost through these cities, and it's a pretty fascinating project.
You shot these pretty high, 7,000 to 12,000 feet.
Yep. So that was the goal. I mean, I can't say that. People have obviously shot, I think, at night at lower altitudes, but at high altitudes, like 7,500 feet to 12,000 feet at night, there's no real record of that ever happening before. And you see an image like this of New York, and you get this incredible compression that looks like Sim City. Yeah. Because you're using a 50 millimeter lens to capture all of Midtown Manhattan. And it was pretty special. The coolest thing about this project was that the veteran pilots I was flying with were saying, "I've never seen anything like this before." And they're flying every single day over these cities, whether it's Barcelona, London, New York, San Francisco. And when you hear a pilot say that, you know you've got something special because you're witnessing something that's rarely been seen before. And I'm getting goosebumps right now because it's very hard to discover something, quote unquote, in 2015 or to find a new image, if you will.
Yeah. I've always been jealous of pilots because of the amazing view of the Earth that they have. So it's amazing that you found stuff they'd never seen before. Are you mostly in a helicopter for this?
All a helicopter. I loathe flying in planes because you work out of a small window and you're going, well over 100 knots, and it's very hard to work.
Yeah.
Whereas a helicopter is just the ideal platform. Obviously, the vibration's an issue, and you can see in those video images, I have a gyroscope at the bottom of the camera to help stabilize
A
it.
Steadicam, in effect.
Kind of, yeah. And it allows us to shoot down to 1/25th of a second, which is kind of crazy. But we've got to go that low. We're really pushing these sensors to their limits. You couldn't photograph this 2 or 3 years ago with digital cameras.
Interesting.
And also, don't forget, the cities themselves are changing. Their power grids are changing to LED lighting. That's why you see these blues and yellows and greens and magentas.
They're much more colorful than they used to be, aren't they? Yeah.
They are. They weren't. They were all yellow 5 years ago, and in maybe 5 years from now, they'll be all blue.
Right.
So this is kind of the perfect storm.
There's some mercury, there's some LED, there's a mix of everything in there. And I love the motion. Now, of course, in the book, we're talking about the book Air.
Yep.
Those are going to be stills.
Yes.
When you are you going to continue to post videos? Because I love the motion. You know what this reminds me of, and I'm sure that they stole this from you. Apple's new screensaver in the Apple TV.
No comment.
Yeah. Because
I may have been consulted about that at some point, but no more than that.
you can't say any more than that.
I can't say anything.
Yeah, of course you can. Is the Storehouse, original Storehouse stuff still up? Can I go see that?
It sure is. The best place to find the stuff right now is on LaFerrari Air, because Storehouse has changed the way they've done things a little bit. It's harder to find. But if you just do LaFerrari, LAFORET just air.com, we have galleries of every city. And it's a pretty cool way to kind of experience this.
That's so cool. Just
and I've never plugged a book before, but here it is.
Yes, this is what you're supposed to do.
This is how big it is.
You're supposed to hold it up.
I'm a photojournalist, so I hate selling stuff. And I'm super proud of it because I'd really gone into
look how gorgeous. And I think you make a good point. You're never going to see these again. These are unique images. The cities are changing, and this kind of light is going to change.
Oh, here's Barcelona. That's what Barcelona looks like from.
Look at the grid.
It's amazing. It's called the Example. It's supposed to be. This is the old downtown Barcelona and above, and then the middle part is the kind of more modern one.
Yeah.
And it's just a pretty fascinating thing to see from up there.
You can see La Ramblas as you go down the middle of the old town.
You're seeing stuff. I mean, the coolest thing is you have planes actually landing underneath your feet at the airport, which is disconcerting.
Yes.
When you're up there, and you're just seeing a world in a very different way. I can honestly say that it's like taking a step back in life. When you take a step back in your own life, you somehow, hopefully, gain some better perspective. And the other irony, besides the one we mentioned earlier, is that with aerial photography, it's somehow a little bit more intimate than one would think. Yeah. And you get a better perspective on your life, on how we relate to our environment as human beings, how we relate to one another. There's a plane landing underneath us right there.
Wow.
And you just see that the world's not as big as you think. Yeah. You don't see social economic differences. You don't see borders. You feel like you're part of something bigger. And I like to call social media anti-social media. I think we're actually a little bit more disconnected as human beings than we were a few years ago. And when I see something like this, at least to me, it reminds me that we're not that different, and we're all pretty connected, and we're all responsible for it. That's why I called Air, the Project Air. It's that air doesn't belong to anyone. We all share it, and it doesn't matter where you come from. And we're all responsible for it.
I love that, Vincent. Okay, let me geek out just a little bit.
Sure.
You're shooting 1D? What are you shooting?
1DX and the 5DS.
Okay. 5DS, interesting. And go ahead.
It's only in the very bright parts of the city because it's such a dense sensor that it's not going to do as well in low light as a 1DX, for example.
Right. And you said everything from 15 to 500.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, actually, it's more limited. It's everything from an 8mm on the 8 to 15 to a 200 f2. We didn't go above 200.
200 now, okay.
Yep.
And are you doing post-processing a little bit, or?
Not much. The biggest question I get is how much post-processing do you do? And I would say about 15 to 30 seconds an image in Lightroom.
Yikes.
what we're doing is we're doing not the saturation, the
Clarity, a little clarity in there.
now the other one, vibrance.
Vibrance.
So
Love the
vibrant-
vibrance. Yeah.
Love the vibrance. We bring the highlights down to give you a better dynamic range to pull those
interesting.
highlights down.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually overexposing these a little bit just to the breaking point of the sensor because most of the information is actually in the shadows. And then we're pulling the degrees Kelvin, the color temperature, a little bit towards the blue. And that's it. There's no localized adjustments. All the photos you see on La Forêt Air are completely full. First of all, they're all full frame.
Yeah.
Not one of them is cropped, and which I take a lot of pride in because everything is shot with a prime lens up there. There's no zoom lenses; they're too dark.
Wow.
And that takes a lot of coordination between myself, Mike, my assistant, as well as the pilot. And you know, they're full frame, shot with prime lenses, and there you go. You can see the great variety between New York, and if you look carefully at that Berlin one, you can actually see the difference in color temperaters. That's East and West Berlin right there.
Holy cow.
Yeah, even
a little more
30
blue in the West Berlin, a little more mercury in the East Berlin.
You got it. So the wall's been down for 27 or so years, maybe 25, something like that. You can still see the remnants of it, and I find that pretty fascinating.
Isn't that amazing?
And these are cool. We did this. These are lithographs because we're selling fine art prints at a gallery, but they're very expensive and they're not really accessible to most. So we did these really high-quality lithographs. So if you want to have something framed up in your wall, one of my favorite photographers, Henri Gattier-Bresson, I have a poster of his. I can't afford a print of his, but I definitely have a poster.
Of course. And so you push it all the way to the clipping on the brights.
We do.
So you get them, but you don't clip, but you want to get the most detail in the blacks.
Yeah, we're really pushing the cameras, the sensors, the lenses.
Yeah.
This is a torture test for a camera because if you look at that Barcelona image you were just on, you can look at it. It's like a lens chart. You can see every edge detail.
It's amazing, isn't it? It is like a lens chart. Yeah.
This is not in a good way, because for me it was like a torture test because you can see all the bokehs, all the coma, everything, all the fall off distortion, and it was tough.
Look at La Sagrada Familia. That is beautiful.
What an amazing place! If people haven't been, I mean, that's just a phenomenal place to go to visit.
Are you using any tilt shift? I noticed, for instance, that London Bridge image.
Yeah, I think if it keeps going, I think there might be one that pops up. Maybe not, but yeah, we're definitely. If you go back to London, there's
the London Bridge image had
exactly
tilt shift.
I've always had a soft spot for it. I was one of the first photographers, like I guess 10 years ago now, in 2006, to do aerials with it. I kind of did it just out of dumb luck. I'd never seen it done before. I think it had been, but I was bored one day, and I've been doing it ever since.
And of course, everything looks like a model. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, like a diorama or a dollhouse effect.
Yeah.
I love that.
I do too. Yeah. Oh, Vincent, I can't wait to get the book. It's called Air. Will you actually be in bookstores?
It will actually be in bookstores, believe it or not, which causes you and me to chuckle. But it'll be on Amazon in 2 weeks as well.
Good.
Right now, it's available on laforetair.com.
That's the place to go to get it. Yeah.
That's the best place, and you can get it signed as well if you want. Nice. And it's kind of the perfect gift because it's a very neutral book. You know, it's not a book about Africa with starving kids or anything. I used to be a photojournalist. That's why I never thought I would do a book, because I would say, who wants to see photojournalism? Yeah. Whereas this is just a beautiful little gift to give someone, and I'm proud of it. I honestly, if you'd asked me a year and a half ago, Vincent, you're going to do a book in a year, I would have said you're nuts.
Well, you gave us all a gift, Vincent, and I thank you so much. Vincent,
thanks, Leo.
La Forêt, you can find the images, buy some images, put a lithograph on your wall at laforêtair.com. Have a great day, Vincent. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Leo.
Take care.
Cheers.
Coming up, the Google Science Fair winner. This is an amazing story, who developed a quick Ebola test. She's in high school, right? Or college? High school. Wow. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Slack. Stuart said there's got to be a better way to keep teams on the same page. Email just isn't doing it. So he created Slack, and it has taken the world by storm. Now, we're not talking instant messenger here. This is a way of putting all those disjointed conversations about a project or among a team into a single, organized, searchable view. You can drag and drop to share files, images, PDFs, documents, spreadsheets, and more. It integrates with everything from Dropbox to GitHub to Trello to MailChimp, Google Drive, and Hangouts. Of course, there are apps for every platform: iOS, Android, Mac, and Windows. It is amazing. In fact, I know teams that are using it for business, but I also know people who are using it with their friends. Like, that's their team. That's their group. It's that much fun. Slack is used by companies like everything from NASA and MIT to the Wall Street Journal and Dow Jones and Airbnb, everybody. We use it with our web team. It's a great way to stay in touch. Our developers are in Austin, Texas. We're up here. Slack surveyed their customers, they found 32% increase in productivity, 48.6% reduction in internal email, thank God, and 25.1% fewer meetings. That's all good. That's gravy. Try it for free. Slack.com/NSS. You can sign up and try it for free. You'll also get a $100 credit you can use when you convert your plan to a paid plan. But you have to do it at slack.com/NSS. I just love Slack, and there's so many fun things you could do. The Slack we have with our team in Austin has a Alex Trebek bot, and you could play Jeopardy in Slack, which is a lot of fun. There's a GIF bot that'll do all sorts of fun. You know about this?
We use Slack.
Do you?
At IDG,
yeah.
Yes,
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah,
It's almost too much fun.
it's a little distracting sometimes.
Yeah. I had to turn off. You could turn it off, but I had to turn off. There's a feature. Every time I said very nice, it would do a Borat. Very nice. So I turned. Thank you. You could turn that off. If you want to try it, slack.com/NSS. I know you're gonna love it. Are you ready to talk to our science fair winner?
Yeah.
This is so cool.
I know.
Olivia. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right after Dickie D. I'm sorry. I got all excited.
We're just very excited. Yeah.
We're going to talk to their 17-year-old Google Science Fair winner, Olivia Hallisey. But first, Dickie D with a little tip for you, a little product you might be interested in.
Dickie Bartolo, Man's Maddest Writer, and the GizWiz. If you have a friend that you want to give a webcam to, this is a very unusual webcam. A different kind of security camera. It's totally wireless, not even a power wire. It's the Netgear Arlo, and that's how you spell it, ARLO. And you don't recharge this camera. It runs on 4 CR123A batteries. And depending on how often you use the camera, Netgear says it runs from 4 to 6 months before you replace the batteries. Mounting it is real easy. It has a flat bottom, so it can just sit on a shelf, but it also has a great magnetic mount. So put that on the wall, and you can slide this around, and it'll hold it pretty much in any place you want. And the thing to remember about the Arlo is it's not a typical security camera. This is not going to be on all the day where you will go onto your smartphone and look at your apartment. You can set it up just to go off and warn you when someone breaks the beam. Also, since there are batteries and there's no charging port, you can use it outdoors also. A kit with 1 camera is about $189, but you can run up to 4 cameras with the 1 base station. Netgear's Arlo. The Netgear Arlo has night vision and comes with 7 days of cloud recording. Some neat ideas. Dickie Bartolo, Mad's Maddest Writer, and the GizWiz.
GizWiz.biz. Bye, Dickie D. That's his website. He'll be back with more holiday shopping tips in just a bit. Leo Laporte with Florence Ion, our host from All About Android, our Android guru from greenbot.com and PC World. And I'm really glad you're here because I want to introduce you to our Google Science Fair winner, Olivia Hallisey. She's joining us now by Skype. Hi, Olivia. Great to see you, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How did you develop an Ebola test?
I'm in a science research class at school, so each student does an independent project, and this was my project.
Okay, honest question. Where did you get the Ebola? Like, that's, like, seriously, where did it come from?
Yeah.
And are you okay?
Yeah, no, it wasn't dangerous for me to work with at all. It's actually just the nucleoproteins and glycoproteins of the Ebola virus that have been purified and isolated. So,
well, of course, I knew that. Everybody knows. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Right.
So how did you kind of develop something different, just, you know, compared to what everybody else was doing, you know, up in the big medical world?
This test is different because initially, when I was looking at current tests, I saw that the most glaring problem to me was that they're all temperature dependent, so they need an unbroken cold chain from point of manufacture to point of administration. So in the beginning, I just wanted to stabilize a current method of testing for Ebola, which is an ELISA kit. And then from there, I saw the other problems. It's plastic, it needs a lab, it requires exact amounts of chemicals. So overall, my test is different is because it's temperature independent, but it's also a lateral flow test, kind of like a pregnancy test, so it's visual. So it's also much more inexpensive, sustainable. It just uses papers. And totally visual, and all you need is water and a sample, so you don't need all the chemicals anymore, and it requires minimal training.
Where do you go to school?
Yeah.
I go to the Greenwich Public School, Greenwich High School.
You must have an amazing science
I
class
know.
there.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing program. My teacher, Angie Bermonti, all the students in that class just are really interested in science and love being there. I think it's just a great class to have in high school.
Why did you want to do this? What's sort of like the inspiration? I mean, what gave you the idea to work on this and try and find something better?
Well, initially, I was in the class, but I didn't really know what I wanted my project to be. So my teacher just said, look in the news, find something that you are passionate about or compelled to help with. And that was last fall when Ebola was really big in the news. And what struck me is that kind of this fear that it's no longer over there anymore, or we can just send money over there. It was really this huge fear that it would come over to America, and it really showed how interconnected the world is. So I felt compelled to find a solution instead of just kind of like a Band-Aid for the issue.
What a great, and now will it be used? Is this
Yeah.
something that can be actually turned into a test that can be packaged and sent to Ebola areas?
Yeah, all the tests I've done so far show that it is a viable option. So I just have to continue. First, it has to be actually used on somebody, so sent to an organization where it would be used. And then, just like mass produced, and hopefully, I hope, really with the goal of this, I just wanted to help people and have it be used. That's my main goal.
And congratulations, because you got best in science and engineering, and that's a $50,000 prize. I'm guessing that's your scholarship fund for college, right?
Ask. What colleges are you looking at?
I don't really know where I want to go to school yet. I'm only a junior, but I definitely want to study science while I'm there.
You should come to California. It's very warm here.
Yeah, nice weather.
It's very warm, and you can do science.
Are you in Greenwich, Connecticut? Is that where you are? Yeah.
Yeah, Connecticut.
Yeah, I imagine that it will not be hard to get into college. This is a nice thing to put on your resume for college. Congratulations. What a great.
So
now,
much.
what's next for you?
Yeah.
Next for me, I'm actually writing and publishing a paper about this research. So then it's really formal, and I can move on to the next steps of mass producing it and hopefully have it be used in the field.
I was going to ask if any NGOs or anybody overseas is using this currently, because it just sounds like something that's really cost effective. And
not yet, but I hope one day in the future.
That's really fantastic.
Yeah.
What would you like to do in college? You want to study medicine in college?
Yeah, I want to be a doctor when I'm older. I like the researching aspect. This project showed me that, but I really like working with people one-on-one and seeing like the impact that my work is making.
I have a feeling we'll hear more from Olivia Hallisey. Hey, Olivia, it's really nice to meet you. What an inspiration. It's such a great story, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, Olivia Hallisey. She's just turned 17. Happy birthday.
Yes, thank you.
And amazingly enough, created a new test for Ebola, the Ebola assay card that is in every respect superior to the one they've been using all along. Olivia, nice to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. You too.
Take care. Wow. Makes me feel so dumb. Oh, my God. Isn't it amazing?
I was just listening to music in 11th grade.
What was I doing? I don't even know if I knew what music was. I think I was
thinking
just
about changing the world.
Yeah, wandering around in my overalls is all I was doing. I still wander around my overalls, but that's in my private life. Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got questions from you, the audience, and we're going to talk to Esteban from Puerto Rico. He's got a question that you might be able to help with, Florence Ion. But first, a word from Braintree. We love Braintree. Braintree is a really cool idea that you may never have heard of, but that I almost can guarantee you've used. If you're a mobile app developer or a website developer and you're looking to integrate payments into your system, You want to use Braintree because you know who else uses Braintree? Uber uses Braintree and Lyft, Airbnb and Hotels Tonight. GitHub uses Braintree. StubHub uses Braintree. Braintree means you can put completely transparent, simple to use payment system into your app, the kind of payment system your customers are already using on all these other sites. It lets them pay any way they want, whether it's Apple Pay, Android Pay, credit cards, Venmo, PayPal, even Bitcoin. They take Bitcoin, for crying out loud. The V.0 SDK is really remarkable. That's the one that Uber uses. So when you take an Uber, there's no moment where you pay. It just happens automatically. That's Braintree. Clean, slick, and it solves a problem that a lot of apps have. You know, about 70% of mobile shopping carts are exited before payment. People get cold feet. They go, I don't know. Maybe they don't trust the system. With Braintree, they solve that problem because it's exactly the experience customers are used to. Have you used the buyable pins on Pinterest? This is a new thing on Pinterest. They put a pin that you can actually buy stuff, and it goes all over the web. That's Braintree doing that. You'll see fewer abandoned carts. You'll see more seals. You'll see faster payouts to you, superior fraud protection, and that's really important. I think it's one of the reasons customers will trust you because they know it's safe. Braintree is the best in mobile checkout experiences. I want you to try it. A full stack payment solution, easy to integrate, about 10 lines of code, works everywhere. They'll even do the integration for you. They've got a sandbox. If you go to braintreepayments.com/NSS, braintreepayments.com/NSS, you can try it out there. Tell the boss, hey boss, I don't need to write this code. Braintree's got this one. braintreepayments.com/NSS. And oh, the boss will like this. Your first $50,000 in payments, fee-free. BraintreePayments.com/NSS. We love them. We're so glad they're part of our new screensavers team. We're glad you are too, Flo. It's nice to have you. Really appreciate it. You enjoying all about Android? You've only been doing
absolutely.
it for a few months now, right? When did you start?
September.
Pretty recently.
Mid-September.
Yeah.
Yeah, right after IFA.
Yes.
Yes.
And Jason and Ron, they're great. I love that show, and you do such a good job. And I'm an Android user, so I find it really useful. I really love that show. Thank you for doing it. Every Tuesday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, if you want to watch live. That's, let's see, 1 in the morning, UTC. But so get up early and watch. You can always watch on demand, too. Let's go to Puerto Rico right now and say hello to Esteban. He's from Bayamon. Hey, Esteban. Time for a call for help. Hello, Esteban.
Hi, Leo. I'm Florence.
Am I saying it right, Bayamon?
Yes.
I love Puerto Rico. I've only been to Old San Juan, though. Where is Bayamon in relationship to that?
It's in the metropolitan area.
Okay.
It's about 10 minutes.
So, the food, the people, the environment, the climate. You live in a beautiful area. What can we do to help you?
Okay. My father-in-law is an artist.
Great.
And he has been painting for 50 years.
Wow.
And he is still painting. He has a very large collection spanning decades of his works. He wants to showcase that collection, and he was thinking on doing it through a book. I suggested that he should do it online on the web through a website.
I love that idea.
I think the benefits of doing it that way is that he could select the website name. He also could achieve a greater following base than with the book.
Absolutely.
And also, he could update the website periodically so he can include recent works.
So the first step is, of course, digitizing it. Are these oil paintings? What kind of paintings are they?
He has oil, acrylic, watercolor.
Are they large?
All sizes. No, not that large.
Okay. Most artists will take slides. They'll take pictures.
Yep.
Slides. I'm dating myself. But that's what we used to do. My mom's an artist.
I still use slides.
Yeah.
So,
slides of your paintings.
Yeah.
That's good. Then you can reproduce them or giclée. And
much easier.
Yeah, you've got something. Nowadays, of course, you're going to take a digital image. The trick is, of course, you've got to get a good digital image, which means, so this is job one, Esteban, is getting your father-in-law's pictures digitized.
Yeah.
You're not going to put them on a scanner, cut them off the frame and put them on a scanner. You're going to get them on an easel. You want to have it exactly perpendicular to the lens of the camera. If it's tilted like this, you'll get foreshortening in the picture and it won't look good. So you want to get it exactly parallel to the camera. That means a tripod for the camera. You might even need to use a level and other tools to make sure it's exactly right. And lighting is going to be important. You don't want glare, but it needs to be lit well enough so that you can see all the color and the detail. You want to get accurate color images, and that might involve some color correction once you get them into the computer. A program like Lightroom, there are lots of ways to do this. It's kind of complicated because you have to calibrate your monitor first. You might even want to use some hardware to calibrate it so that you want to get as close a match to the colors. You don't want the blues to look pink and vice versa. Sounds like you do this. Are you an artist?
I'm not an I'm a faux photographer.
Okay, so you have done.
And I shoot my own smartphones and everything, and my own
you
photos.
So yeah, I mean.
So I use Lightroom, and it's great because it's $10 a month.
Nothing too fancy here,
Yeah.
really. You can do this, and there aren't. I'm sure he's been doing it for 50 years, but there can't be thousands of these.
Oh.
No, about hundreds.
Hundreds, yeah.
All right, so it's
but
more
that's a good project.
than a weekend.
And you want to do this anyway because it's almost like, it's not exactly a backup, but it's close.
Yeah.
And it would be great to memorialize these and have them all.
Absolutely.
So the next question is, once you get these images, what do you do with them? You want to make some suggestions?
Well, you could always go to Blurb. They let you make little photo books.
Right.
Photo books. There's also Flickr, which I use. I've always loved Flickr. They also let you print things out if you need it, and now I think they let you have unlimited storage, or I think it's
a
up to
terabyte.
1 terabyte,
That should be plenty.
Which is pretty good. There's also a couple of other.
You mentioned Blurb, which is a great. There's also Lulu.com. You said you don't want to do a book, Esteban, but maybe what you want to do besides the website is say, and if you would like a copy of these for yourself, you saw our photographer earlier. He was making very fine art prints of his, selling them for $100 each. You could sell them for more if they're limited edition. You can sell more of them if they're not. At a lower price. That's something you're going to have to decide. If there's a mass market for it, maybe it's better to sell them for $100. My friend Trey Ratcliffe makes giant printouts of his gorgeous landscape photography, but he's very careful to make sure there's only a half dozen prints and they're numbered because that makes them more valuable. Limited edition. Lulu is like Blurb, a just-in-time printer. So you can say, the expense of making an art book is printing 1,000 copies when you don't know if you're going to sell even one. But these, you can print them on demand. So when people buy, it actually prints out Blurb, same thing. It actually prints out the book and then sends it to the person. You don't have to worry about the transaction. They take a percentage, and you get the majority of the money. This is a great way to make books available as well. Let me show you another site. They call it a photo sharing site, but it's actually a site for sharing images. It's called SmugMug. And one of the things I love about SmugMug, I use SmugMug, it's $140 a year. It's not free. Pros use this, but they have e-commerce. So if you are on this, you can make SmugMug integrated into your site. They actually it could be your site. A lot of photographers do that. And people could buy prints directly from SmugMug. And again, you set the price and you set the percentage that you're going to get to keep. So this is this is what I use for my photography. And I just love it. And people can buy mouse pads. They can buy mugs. You get to decide exactly what people can buy, what kinds of things they can make, and how much you charge. That's up to you. So that there's obviously a cost for making the images. But the monetization is really a fantastic way. This is not specifically for painters, but I see no reason once you have digital images that you couldn't do that. There are lots of other places.
And you can make a website with Squarespace, which is like super easy.
Yeah, in fact, they have artist sites.
It's like drag and drop.
Portfolio sites. Yeah, I use Squarespace for my website. They're a sponsor. A little disclaimer there. What other questions do you have? I love this project. I think this is wonderful.
This is gonna be quite a test.
Well, you won't believe it, but he has stated that he has never in his life sold a painting,
right?
And he will never sell a painting.
He just wants people to see them.
Yeah, that's
Good for him.
That's fine, yeah.
Good for him. I love
Showcase
that.
it. Share his art with the world.
And luckily, we in the family have, we are a big family, and we have people with knowledge and working in the fields of photography, film, advertising.
Oh, you're ready. You're set to do this.
So I don't think that would be much problem.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. How old is your father-in-law?
85 years old.
85. So he's been painting for 50 years. He's got hundreds, maybe 1,000 paintings. What is his name? I want to write this down because when you put up the site, I want to look at it. Are they landscapes? What are they? Are people paintings or abstracts?
He does. Now he's doing abstracts.
Abstracts, yeah.
He used to do watercolors. He doesn't do portraits.
Okay. I would love to see these. Yeah.
Well, what I'll do is he just had 2 years ago an exposition, and I will try to scan the brochure, and I will email it to you.
I would love to see that. But don't use those brochure images unless you can find the originals, because the brochure will be screened and actually the resolution of brochures is lower than you think, and won't be a good source material. I think this is great.
Of doing it all over again.
Perfect. I love this. You know, and it's also good that he's not worried about selling it, because one concern that does come up when you put this stuff online is people might borrow those images. Once stuff goes digital, it's really hard to keep people from...
All you have to do is screenshot it.
Yeah, you can't prevent that. But it sounds like he's more interested in getting his art out to the world than in trying to monetize it. So I think that that's not going to be a concern.
He's getting years, and he wants to his legacy to be available in the future.
Sounds like a beautiful family project.
Yeah, isn't it? That's wonderful. Esteban, it's great to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us on the new Screensavers. That's so cool. Doesn't that sound great?
Yeah.
I have slides of my mother's pictures, and some of those pictures she sold or they've been lost.
She was a photographer?
She does silk screening and painting.
Okay.
And so we got professional, this was before I was really involved, professional photograph made, but they're all slides, so I have to go get them scanned. But on some of those, we no longer have the original, so it's really important to do this, because it's one way to preserve this. Admittedly, it's not as good as the original, but it's better than nothing, and it's really nice to preserve these if you can. And nowadays, modern printing techniques, I asked Vincent Laforet how he prints his prints, and he's got somebody really good who can make amazing quality prints. And nowadays with giclée printing and other things, you can actually get pretty close to the original, so it's really worth getting those images now. If you'd like us to answer your tech questions, remember it's Father Robert Ballester next week. Send him your questions. Here's how you do it.
Need tech help? The new Screensavers are here with answers. Email your tech questions to newscreensavers@twit.tv.
Coming up, our mailbag, we'll answer some final emails with Florence Ion of All About Android and Greenbot. But first, Dickie D with a gadget that could save the life of a loved one. Watch.
Dickie Bartolo, Mads Mad, is trying to end the GizWiz. Gift ideas. Have a friend who has a motorcycle. This is a gift that could be a lifesaver. Found it at a CES event here in New York City.
MotoGlow is a motorcycle helmet safety light that brings your signal, braking, and running lights up to helmet height in real time. It is an easy install, about a 15-minute install, and it again brings your turn signals up to helmet height. It has a transmitter, and that transmitter communicates wirelessly, and it has a rechargeable battery, and it'll run about 12 to 18 hours on a single charge.
You are using your own helmet, and then this is what the kit looks like. Can we hold that up there to the camera? And so this part goes on the motorcycle?
Yes, this is the install module, and there's 5 wires that simply wire to your ground, power, brake, left and right turn signal. And then we provide the clamps, and then this is the piece that adheres to your helmet. And then one of these can pair to 2 helmets. So if you've got a rider and a passenger, you can actually purchase a second one of these and then pair to 2 helmets that can then be turned on and off depending upon if your passenger's riding or not.
Moto Glow is on Amazon. It's about $80 to $90. Dick D, bye.
Thank you, Dickie D. GizWiz.biz. That's Dick's website. And don't forget, he and Chad, OMG Chad, do a great show, The GizWiz. And you can watch that at GizWiz.tv. You know, I was going to ask you what phone you use, but I found your phone, and I think it's really cool that you use such an old-fashioned device for making phone. Oh, wait a minute. That's just the remote control for our television set. What do you use these days?
I have a Nexus 6P.
Me too.
Yeah.
Let's get our mailbag. You ready? Sliding in here. It's not really a bag. It's more like a box. And every once in a while, we put some food in here because I guess people get hungry. Would you like some sardines?
No, thank you.
You sure? Full of omega-3s. No? All right.
I'm not really a fish person.
Yeah. Would you like some Dinty Moore beef stew? Get rid of the mailbag. Let's see here. I have email. Let me see. I'm going to give you the hard one.
Okay.
There's the hard one.
All right, this is the hard one.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right.
Should I start or would you like to start?
You go ahead.
All right. Hey, this is from Darius in Fort Myers, Florida. Hey, New Screensavers crew, Darius says, I've been a faithful Gmail user since it was launched. Remember when Gmail first came out, like people were selling invitations on eBay and stuff like that?
I had just gotten a Yahoo email account.
And
Like I just got DSL when that came out.
And then Gmail comes out, and what did you do?
I waited on it a little bit, but thankfully nobody took my name.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, I regret using my name on Gmail because my last name is French. And for some reason, I think there are a lot of Laportes in France.
Yeah.
And I think when they submit their email address to various French things, they put like first name space last name because I'm getting so much French junk mail. Stop it. I've been a faithful Gmail user since it was launched. However, over time, the way Google has decided to change labels and categorizations has never worked for me. Even accessing the all mail label doesn't show all my mail anymore. It doesn't? Is there any way to get back to the all new mail comes to the inbox like every other email service again? I think there is. You probably turned on categorization, right? Where it goes to inbox priority, newsletters, forums. Turn that off. That's in the settings because that's the one that's doing some sorting for you. You don't have to allow Google to do that. Gmail can just do what you want, which is it all comes into the inbox. Turn off all the category. Turn off any filters you've created. All mail should show all mail. I don't know what you're not getting in all mail. Maybe the spam isn't going in there, but you could turn off all the categorization and filters and have it just be like a regular inbox. You know what I do, and this works as well. I have, my main account is a Gmail account. I actually forward it from my Leoville account that it doesn't have a mailbox there. It just, bounces it all over to Gmail. And then I use another client, I use Fastmail to get the Gmail. So Fastmail's an IMAP service, fastmail.com. And it does a great job, but it ignores any categorization that Google's done because Google's not really putting it in folders. It's just adding labels. So it just ignores the labels. Yeah. And it automatically sorts it there. I have my own civ rules and all of that stuff from Fastmail. So you don't have to do what Google's saying to do. You can use Google as just an inbox and then set up your own categorization with another mail client. I like Fastmail. It has Spam Civ. Is it Spam Civ? No, Spam Assassin. That's even better than a civ as an assassin. And it does a great job. But Google does too. That's why I sent it through Google.
Yeah, I don't use a mail app. I just use, except
you just
for
use
Outlook,
Gmail. You go
for work, but I just use Gmail. Inbox is my fave.
I love Inbox.
I love it.
It's just you and me. Everybody else moans about Inbox. I think Inbox is bad. You go.
The busiest part of my inbox is usually the purchases section.
Yeah.
And then I feel really bad about how much money I've spent.
Yeah.
So. But,
supposedly, Inbox is now a Google app for work compatible. You have to get your administrator to turn it on, but I'm looking forward to using it for my work email as well. What do you got there?
All right, let's see. Hello, Leo and Flo. Here's an Android question for you. Is there any way to get the benefits of Marshmallow's new Doze feature on a non-Marshmallow device?
Oh, yeah.
Doze is amazing, so I understand this. I have an older Jelly Bean 4.2.2 tablet that I use every day for watching Twitch shows, email, and my all-around needs.
Yeah.
The battery will go from 100% in the morning to 60% by lunchtime, just sitting at my desk. That's a total bummer. I am rooted and have tried apps like Greenify, but nothing seems to help. This is from Gary in Arizona.
So what is Doze?
So Doze is amazing. So what happens is when you leave your Marshmallow phone on the table, it would just sit and go to sleep essentially. But it only does this after a short while. Like you don't know when it's gonna do it.
You can't force it to doze?
You can't touch it or like check it, and it doesn't work if you're like in the car and the car is moving.
Because that'll wake it up.
Yeah, because it's still feeling that it's being used.
So the bane of battery life on Android phones is what we call the wake lock. A program waking the phone up to get your mail or to check notifications or anything. And the problem with Android, and Apple's locked this down, that's why Apple gets such great battery life, I think. The problem with Android is any app can do that, and most apps do, and until Android 6.0, your phone, even when the screen was off, was basically on. In fact, sometimes I'd pick up my phone and be hot, and I'd know that some, Telegram's been getting my messages over and over and over again, or Gmail or whatever. So what Doze is doing is it's taking all those wake locks and combining them so that they don't happen over a long period of time. They happen in chunks, and the rest of the time the CPU can go all the way down, can rest and not use battery life. And I agree with you, it's done a pretty good job. The idle on this phone is a much less
it's
of a
amazing.
battery
I have 70% battery life at the end of my workday versus the GS6 Edge, which would usually only have 30%.
Oh my God, the Edge is the worst.
I know, but it's beautiful. So I mean, potato, potato.
Yeah, it's a high maintenance phone.
Yeah.
So Apple does this very well, and one of the things that, Apple doesn't allow multitasking, right? Apps that are running in the background get shut down after a few minutes, and that's it. You're done. You're through. You can do that when you really completely control the environment. Android, one of the reasons we like Android is a much more open environment.
Yes.
And but that's the price you pay. I think Doze is a good solution. Is there any way he can make, Jelly Bean? He's got 4.2. Is there any way he can make
There's
Jelly
an
Bean?
app. So there's an app you can download. You don't even need to be rooted. It's called Deep Sleep Battery Saver. And the Pro mode actually lets you control things like how bright the screen is and when things go, when certain parts of the system go to sleep. So it's just more granular controls for the battery. And you can use this just until you get Marshmallow. Or,
I don't think
Or you
anything's-
could always flash Marshmallow as soon as it's available and just get that Doze.
That might be the best answer, right?
Well, it takes a lot of
work.
It takes a lot of work to do that since it's not available for
No app is going to do as well as the operating system at this. That's really a job the operating system
it's very
has to
true.
do.
And I'm curious to see how it's going to integrate with third-party OEMs and their overlays, their versions of Android. I can't wait for TouchWiz to get Marshmallow.
As much as I love Android, there's stuff that just goes along with it. You're just going to have to live with. It's an open operating system, so you're going to have stuff like that. When it was created, there's latency in the audio chain, and you just can't really get rid of that without getting rid of the whole system. It's based on Java. There's just things that go along with it. Decisions that were made ages ago, and I don't think there's a whole lot Google can do
It's
about
Linux.
that. It's Linux.
It's Linux. It's Linux in a
Java,
little box.
It's amazing that it works at all, frankly. But I love it.
It works really well.
I have to say, you want battery life for days. The Apple iPhone 6s Plus. It just keeps on ticking. It's amazing. I'm looking forward to the Priv though. The Priv's going to be good, right? And I'm going to be typing away on my little keyboard. It's going to look just exactly like that.
I don't know about the keyboard part, but you will like the Priv.
I can't. Well,
the keyboard, though.
I can't wait. I get it November 30th, I think. I ordered it from the BlackBerry site. Florence, it's so great to have you. Come back, will you? Do this again?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You can see her every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. 1 in the morning UTC on All About Android. Must watch. It is a must watch if you're an Android user. And of course, read her writing at greenbot.com and pcworld.com. What are you working on next? What's your next?
Oh my gosh.
Reviewing anything right now?
I've been using Samsung Plus, which is it's a little help app, and I'm just sort of trying to see if I could have given that app to my mom to help her with her Galaxy S6 Edge's problems and see if that's something.
Is Samsung gonna ever? I mean, I feel like Samsung's sunsetting with its phones. I know you love the S6.
I do, and I have not loved Samsung phones for a while, so this was the year that I was really impressed.
And the Note 5, by the way. I like that
I
a lot.
know. It was really impressive.
Yeah.
Every time I pick it up now, still
Yeah.
when I pick it up, it's a really nice phone.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for being here. We do the new Screensavers Saturday afternoons, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 2200 UTC. See, I do math like this. No, I have it memorized. 2200 UTC. Watch live if you can. We love having you in the chat room. But if you can't, we make on-demand audio and video available of all of our shows at twit.tv. In this case, twit.tv/NSS for new Screensavers. Or, best thing to do, if you can, subscribe. There's a podcast app on all phones. There's a variety of them. Google is going to start adding podcasting to Google Play Music. Spotify's doing it. I hear this thing called iTunes. All the kids use it. We're there too. All you got to do is subscribe, and that way you won't miss an episode. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the new Screensavers. Bye-bye.